Welcome into our countdown to first pitch interview series. We are getting close to the start of the season. Thank goodness. It's been a while. And today I'm visiting with Coach Kristina McSweeney. She is in her 9th year as the head coach at Arkansas Tech University. Coach, thanks for coming on with us today.
No problem. Excited to talk about my team.
Well, before we do that, let's talk about last year's team for just a moment, because I know we've been down this trail with every other coach. I have to ask you as well. What was March of 2020 like for you when everything just came to a halt and eventually the season was canceled? Tell us how that was for you and your coaching staff, for Arkansas Tech, for your players.
Well, March, it was the first time in like 16 years that I was actually able to hang out with my kids.
Yeah.
I have 4 of my own, and it was really a time of getting to know them during the spring. Usually we're in and out, my husband and I, with him with baseball and athletic training and me with softball. My day-to-day was I'd get up, I'd go hang out with Coach Berkey. We'd run, talk about when coronavirus was going to be over. A long run joke with us is in March, he said, well, this will be gone by July. In July, he would tell me, well, this will be gone by October, Coach. And then in October, he was like, do you think we're going to play? So him and I we survived together, to be honest. Lots of Zoom meetings, lots of checking in on the girls, tears, frustrations, uncertainties. But overall, it has been such a learning moment for me as a coach, as a mother, as a friend. You know, as a team, we've just grown. It's crazy.
Well, I've asked other coaches this too. Did you read a book? Did you paint anything? Do yard work? Did you do anything to pass the time? You said you went running, I guess.
Oh yeah. I'll have to give a shout out to our cross country coach, Coach Heim. He was like, let's start a training program. You and Coach Berkey start, running and getting back in shape. And I was like, Coach Heim, I've always been in shape. But anyway, I ran a lot, read a lot, spent a lot of time with my kids, had a mean green, and I'm just going to show you out here in my front yard. My son and I had a mean game of wiffle ball between my husband, Coach Berkey, his wife.
Nice.
That's what we did. He was out of baseball and it was killing him. I was out of softball. It was killing me. So that's what we did. And of course, today I'm home because my daughter is quarantined from close contact. So we're making the best of it.
Yeah. Well, I've got a full-time job, 2 part-time jobs, and I just sat on my back porch for like a month. I didn't know what to do. I had never, in fact, my wife and I've been married 10 years, and we had never spent this much time together, but we survived. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Okay, let's talk some softball then in Arkansas Tech. A lot of coaches have been wanting to talk about some of their seniors that are coming back. Were you able to get some of yours back, and tell me about some of the returning players?
I actually let all my seniors move on.
Okay.
Interesting enough, Paige Mendoza and Ashton Sangster are both coaching now. So they both had major coaching opportunities, both coaching at the junior college level. So I'm super proud of them, excited to extend my coaching tree. As far as my returning players, I'm really excited about who I have back. Timber Riley, Mackenzie Goins, Mackenzie Addis, Patty Laredo, Brooke Pruitt, Morgan Page, Robin Bales, Maddie Pro, Kayla Cartwright. I can go on and on. We have a really good base of players that would have been sophomores and now are juniors.
Yeah.
Or COVID sophomores, however we're going to refer to them in their future. But I'm really excited about this group. They've put in a lot of time. They've learned a lot. they had their freshman year to kind of get their feet wet and see what Tech was all about. And now they're just ready to go turn it on. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do.
Okay, if we can get others to agree on that term, I will go with it as well, because I told another coach a decade into this, and now with all of the coronavirus, I'm not going to be able to remember who is in what year or how many years of eligibility. So that might help me clear it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about the COVID sophomore, the returning.
Yeah.
That's the only way to decipher between them at this point.
Yeah. So what was recruiting like for you? There wasn't much of that going on. You probably already had some players committed. Tell us what that was like this past year.
Okay, so I'm giving myself a huge shout out.
Okay.
I have become a great Twitter recruiter. I'm just going to throw it out there through Twitter. And I have to also talk about how these summer programs have been able to let us watch live stream. At one point this summer, I was watching a game. My son was watching a game. My husband was watching a game.
Wow.
And I would give the numbers of players that I was recruiting. I'm like, okay, when number 2 comes up, yell at me so I can go watch her at bat.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty neat system going on Fridays and Saturdays when there were games on. But a lot of online stuff, a lot of different modalities. My 10-year-old son is now like my right-hand man. So
that's great.
Yeah, so that's what we did. Coach Berkey had his whole little system. He had like 2 TVs, his laptop. It was crazy, but we were able to do it. I was able to really get some quality players in the 22 class and in the 23. So I'm excited about it. It actually worked out pretty well.
You could do a scouting report on your son. You could give him a report on how well he did.
Correct. And he is like all about it now. So
that's cool. That's really neat.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's how we survived until we were finally given the green light. But that's what we had to do. So
yeah. What was the fall like? What was practice like? Once you kind of figured out the COVID restrictions and whatnot, were you able to make things happen?
Well,
not really.
So first 2 weeks cooking with butter. We were out there. We were getting stuff done. It was exciting. Then COVID hit my team. 19 of my 24 tested positive.
Wow.
All at the same time. That was a very trying time. That was probably a very low place for all of us. It was scary and frustrating. Yeah. And we had just got softball back, and then it was taken away from us again. I had a couple players with some serious COVID issues, so I hated it.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. It was just a very trying time. We came back stronger. We finished the fall in a high place. Obviously had some growing pains like any team does, with new players and new faces. But I liked where we were at the fall. I liked where we finished, had some really good inter squads, able to see everything I needed to see going forward. So I felt good about the fall, frustrated with COVID and the restrictions and, playing with a mask and socially distance and washing equipment and hand sanitizing. But I feel like we made a lot of progress. So I was pleased with our fall.
Wow. Well, yeah, I didn't realize that about your team. I'm glad things have gotten better at this point. You start the season really soon, February 5th, 6th coming up. So I know you're going to be excited just to get out on the field, play somebody else. Your team's going to be ready. How do you kind of lower that energy level actually to make sure they're not too excited, or do you just let them go for it?
So that's exactly why I've scheduled 2 scrimmages with 2 junior colleges this week to kind of just get them to where they know what they need to do. We open up with Commerce, which is a very worthy opponent. We have struggled against them every year, and I just continue to go back there. But we play Commerce and Texas A&M International, 2 very good top of the mill Lone Star teams. And I'm excited about the opportunity of playing someone in region, somebody different, excited about being able to travel, although that may look a world different than it usually is.
Yeah.
But we are ready. Our girls are hungry to get out there. I think these 2 scrimmages this week will help us kind of control those nerves and see, okay, what else I need to do to get ready. But that's how I'm combating that. We're talking about small goals, what we need to accomplish. We're not even talking about winning and losing right now. We're just trying to make it to the game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Coach, we've done this a number of years. I've interviewed a lot of coaches. This is authentic. I really appreciate that. Maybe it's the video element of it that has created some of that, but I get to see your front yard. I mean, so that's all the questions I have. I want to thank you for the time and best of luck to Arkansas Tech this year.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.